Are 1 through 4 the best in the series?
I would say 1 through 5.
Story-wise, it's like 1 and 2 are the best. 3 is in there because it's part of the classics.
Mm-hmm.
4 is good because it really revolutionized like the gameplay of those series. 5 is good because of the co-op, but like it ain't that great of a game. 6 is trash. 7 is actually just replayed. Not replayed. I beat it for the first time a couple months ago. It was okay. I didn't love it, but it was okay. Village I haven't touched at all except for the demo. I'm gonna go back and play it.
Welcome, guys, to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, DJ Doey Fresh, here with some of my friends, the 2 hottest hosts in the world, all right? Maybe too hot to handle. Too hot.
Damn.
Maybe it's too hot for TV. Right?
Yeah, we just got to cut this episode right now. It's just too hot.
I got my boy Mateo, the Texas one without a gun.
How's it going, bud? I'm still recovering. Got my big ass bruise going on here.
Oh my God.
From a bicycle accident, not a motorcycle accident, as everyone seems to believe.
Yo, that's rough.
It was not my best moment.
We got
my wrists are all jacked up. You know, you don't think about it, but bike accidents, when you're crashing, you catch yourself with your wrist, jacks them up, dude.
Yep.
The thing I hate the most is all the little cuts you get in your hands. That shit is itchy and uncomfortable. And you should ride bike. You should wear bike gloves when you go riding.
I think I'm gonna change it up. I think I'm gonna add some gear on to my next bike ride.
You gotta go with the fingerless, with just with the palm, is you're good. Gotta get that palm coverage. We got another beautiful host here, my boy Pucho, the bald one.
What's going on? I shaved this morning and got a workout in this morning. So I got that fresh shave with the sun sheen on it.
That's fire.
I think it's a little dulled actually. It's not as shiny.
It doesn't look as shiny as I would expect, honestly.
It does.
And I closed the blind so it's a little less bright in here.
It looks fresh though. Definitely looks like you shaved.
For sure. Doey, I beat my first run on Resident Evil 2 last night.
Let's go.
I will tell you, I had to just turn my brain off at a certain point and just play the game completely different. Once you get into the lab, you just shoot everything. You're just in kill mode at that point.
Yeah.
And that's how I'd been playing the game to begin with. And it screwed me up because I had no ammo for any of the boss fights that I was doing.
Yeah. The good thing about these games is that the game knows when you don't have any ammo. So it'll start throwing you mad ammo. The Resident Evil 4 is doing that for me now. And even Dead Space, when I played the Dead Space remake, it knows when you're out of ammo. And then you'll open up a locker and it'll have 3 items in it. I'm like, I've never seen a locker with 3 fucking items.
You know what game doesn't do that? What's the Dead Space clone that came out?
Oh, Callisto Protocol?
Yeah.
It does not do that.
It does not do that. I was watching Jesus and Junior play one day, and Jesus is trying to fight 8 enemies at once, and he only had 2 bullets, and he had to figure out how he was gonna kill all these guys with just 2 bullets.
That's
and
nuts.
it was
That's
he
rough.
died a lot of times, and I was like, this does not look fun.
Yeah.
This garbage.
I died a pretty decent amount of times in Resident Evil 2. I will tell you the most insulting thing that happens when you die is when it's like, do you want to turn on aim assist?
Yes. They don't wait long to hit you with that. Resident Evil 4, you die once. It's like, do you want to lower the difficulty? It's like, I've died once. Come on.
Yeah, I think those things are good though. When I do, when I open video games now, the first thing I go into is accessibility options. I turn on all the shit to make. I don't know why. It's like that. It brings me joy to do stuff like that. So I love accessibility. There should be accessibility options inside Souls games. I hope they do that one day. That would be really fucking cool.
I'm down with that. You know, there's very few games that I care now about doing on the max hard, the max difficulty. I think the last one that I cared about was God of War. God of War, oof. I want to beat that on as hard a difficulty as I can. I want to feel like I earned that one.
Sheesh.
But Resident Evil, I'm not doing a hard mode run on this one. I'm I don't think I'm going to do the
The
replay.
game has to be really, really fun in order for me to play on the hardest difficulty. Like Resident Evil 4, I think I'm going to get the platinum. You got to beat the game like 4 times and play on the hardest difficulty. But the fun part about Resident Evil, except Resident Evil 2, they didn't really do a good job with it. But usually the fun part of these Resident Evil games is like when you beat the game, you start getting these unlocks that make the other runs more fun. So like, I think you could get an unlimited pistol if you shoot all the... There's like these little dolls that you find around the police
little
department and
raccoons.
stuff. I think if you shoot them all, you get a pistol that is like infinite rounds. And just now having that, going back and replaying it, it's like now you could shoot everybody as much as you want, and it makes the game that much more enjoyable. Resident Evil 4, there was a ton, at least in the original. I haven't even beat the game once yet, but there's a ton. There's like a infinite like machine gun, an infinite rocket launcher. They had like this alien pistol that like obliterated certain enemies. There was they just had a bunch of these different types of guns with like nice little features, and it just made going back and replaying the game like that much more fun, because now you're flying through the game really fast. All these things you had difficulty with before, you're like burning through them quick. I don't know, something, you know, it doesn't sound fun on paper, but it's actually enjoyable to go back and play it like in God mode pretty much.
That's how I played my first round, dude. That's why I had no ammo. I would walk into a room, I'd shoot every corpse on the ground in the head. Leon definitely got some kind of higher up talking to after he finished like saving the day. They were like, we were reviewing the footage and you need to stop shooting bodies. Like it's just unprofessional, dropping 5 rounds into every body you see.
If that was my first day on the job, I think I'll do much worse than Leon. All right. Leon did all right for his first day on the job, heading into work, and that's what you're walking into. I think he did pretty good.
That's fair. That's fair. What a disappointing ending on the Leon run, though.
Yeah.
Like the ending is so you do the boss fight and then you just get on a train and bleed a little bit.
There is another ending. So if you keep playing, the different scenarios have different endings and stuff like that.
I thought it was lame that they, instead of doing the different scenarios like they did in the original game, they just make you play Claire's scenario and it's like her story. I don't know. I just thought it was whack.
You get reverse. You get to do Claire's for him, for Leon, and then Leon's for Claire as well. You just have to keep saving the end of the game, and it'll give you the scenario. Like you can play through their scenarios with the different characters.
Do they play differently or anything? Is there a reason to?
I mean,
I didn't
Claire's
think so.
story is different.
Okay.
You're running through the same kind of rooms, but there's certain rooms you can go into, but Leon can't go into, and vice versa. She also gets some pretty
there's
cool
certain
weapons.
keys you get. There's some different weapons you get. Like I think Leon gets a shotgun. She gets a grenade launcher. And some of the story beats are different. They encounter different characters, things like that. In the original game, though, it was a scenario B, which was kind of Claire's run, but it was also different story beats for Leon, so different cutscenes. I think the alternate scenarios are the actual endings to those games. So it was like if you didn't play them, you didn't really see the ending to Resident Evil. And I thought that was really cool. And this one, it just, I don't know, it didn't hit the same way. I didn't go back and beat them all.
I actually agree.
I still don't understand the story. Like I know that now there's a G virus apparently, but I thought there was a T virus in the first one. And
the first one is the T virus. This is the G virus.
And is it still Birkin in the first one, or is it a different scientist completely?
It's a different scientist.
And I might need to. Are they doing a Resident Evil 1 remake? I may need to go and play that one next.
They remade the game originally for the GameCube, and that's a really good game. Like,
but that one's still tank controls, right? Like it's not like the over the shoulder.
But
see, I don't think I could go back to the tank controls.
You can do it. You could do it.
There's a setting in that game you could turn off the tank controls and it'll just play.
Oh, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah, you just where you aim your controller is where you go. I forgot about that. You're right.
It makes dodging the enemies really easy because then you could like walk near them and when they go for a lunge, you just walk away and then you could run right past them. Yeah.
The GameCube is goated, man.
I just replayed Resident Evil 1, the original Resident Evil 1. Much better than I remember.
Is it on like the PS streaming or something like that?
It's on not streaming. You could just download it. If you got the PlayStation, if you got the classics, so you could play the like OG games, you You could download Resident Evil 1. I was a little disappointed they didn't put Resident Evil 2 on there. That's what I really want. But
Are you one of the purists? Is Resident Evil 2 the original one better than the remake?
I think so.
for me, I think so.
Yeah.
The gameplay is not better. Nobody could deny that the gameplay in Resident Evil 2, everything about the new game is just overall a better game in terms of like controls, story, graphics, like pretty much every single thing. The remake is better. But there's a charm to the old one. The story, I think, plays out a little bit more interesting. And the simplicity of the game, for me, I didn't like all that Mr. X stuff. I hated that stuff. So it's like, if I don't got to deal with that, I think I'll enjoy the game more as well.
The Mr. X stuff wasn't that bad until Doey was watching me play, and I kept jumping out of windows straight into Mr. X's hands.
It's funny.
I was just kept doing this loop and running straight into him, and I was just stuck in a cycle, dude.
If I'm not correct, the Pucho, you could take Mr. X down in Resident Evil 2, right? Was
Nah.
No?
You could hurt him enough that he'll like fall down to one knee, and he gives you like 10 minutes of peace.
Okay.
And then he starts chasing you again. So it's like there's no way to actually stop him until you get to the part in the story where he gets
But Nemesis in 3, you can kill Nemesis, like, and he'll drop weapons and shit like that, right? You can down him.
Yeah, in 3, if you kill Nemesis, he'll be dead for that period of time until you hit like the next time. He has like events where he like spawns, and if you could kill him every time, and you get like rocket launcher ammo or like a key bullet. Like he always drops something special. I think you should kill him every time you see him if you're doing like a completionist run.
There's something fun about like video game design. I love in video game design when you walk into an area and you just know, like, I'm gonna fight a boss here. This area is there's too wide of a platform here in the middle of this stage. I'm gonna fight a boss here. Or there's like a save room right before. Just all the little hints that like people like if you've been playing video games long enough, you just catch on to.
A room that's full of items. You're like, whoa, they're throwing a lot of items my way right now.
That's why there were a couple scenes in Resident Evil 3 that were like really screwy, because it would be like you'll be walking through a little corridor and then Nemesis will pop up and you're like, oh god, I gotta turn the other way now. Like there's almost no indication that this is a boss is gonna pop up. There's one room, usually those old Resident Evil games, they followed a rule where if you left the room, you were now safe from anything that was in that other room. And in Resident Evil 3, they flipped that on the head, because sometimes Nemesis will walk into the rooms you're in. The first time that actually happens, you run away from him and go in the room and you feel safe. And then he literally punches a hole through the wall. He like shatters the whole wall and runs into the room. And you're like, all right, the rules don't apply in this game. Like, so I actually, as a kid, I was way too afraid to play Resident Evil 3. Like I never beat it as a kid.
Are
Really?
1 through 4 the best in the series?
Yeah, I mean,
I've heard Village is good too. I've heard Village is like another like high point in the series.
I would say 1 through 5.
Story wise, it's like 1 and 2 are the best. 3 is in there because it's part of the classics. 4 is good because it really revolutionized like the gameplay of those series. 5 is good because of the co-op, but like it ain't that great of a game. 6 is trash. 7 is actually just replayed. Not replayed. I beat it for the first time a couple months ago. It was okay. I didn't love it, but it was okay. Village I haven't touched at all except for the demo. I'm gonna go back and play it. But I've heard that if you play Resident Evil 4 Remake before Village, it makes the controls in Village feel very dated.
Ooh.
Really?
Is what I've heard. Yeah. So I'm a little bummed out by that, but.
That's wild.
It's been interesting. I never gave Resident Evil a lot of time, so it's been interesting revisiting it.
Yeah.
Although the storyline I think is still batshit insane. I don't think that the storyline makes a lot of sense. I think it's an anime. I think the Resident Evil is just a straight up anime.
Yeah, it's feels like it, like a spy flick with Ada Wong and stuff like that. I wanted to bring up one more topic. How do you guys feel about the AI covers, the AI of artificial intelligence music covers, where they take a famous celebrity, or they take like Kanye and they'll put him on like a Drake track, or they'll put him on Gary Come Home from SpongeBob and stuff.
I've heard
I
good
think it's
ones and bad
interesting.
ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, but I'm not. I think there's certain people. This is like really cool to certain people. For me, it's kind of like, it's okay. What I'm more afraid of, and I'm not trying to shift the conversation too much, is just where we're gonna go in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of like. I don't know if y'all have seen any of these deep fake videos.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like there's tapes of certain politicians having sex with people and things like that are just not real, but you could put somebody's face into any scene. Now you could put people's voices and things like that. Like what's gonna happen when you see like there's gonna be a video of like Barack Obama beating his wife, and then you got to question if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then what's gonna happen when it is faked, or what's gonna happen when it's real and someone's gonna claim, nah, that's just a deep fake.
there's a lot of conversation about making like some kind of like a requirement for AIs to watermark their videos and their things that they generate in some way, so they can be determined whether they're false or real or not.
Yeah, that would be probably the smartest thing. Hopefully,
You're right. You're right, though. I think it's closer than people think. That we're 5 to 10 years out of a massive shift in the internet and our workplace and all kinds of things from like the advancements of AI. I think 5 to 10 years.
I write software, and there's already plenty of programmers that use like ChatGPT to help them code things. Like, I mean, it's good at writing code. If you're like, hey, write me a query that does this and compares this thing and does that, it'll generate some code. And it's not always 100% correct, but you copy and paste that code, you tweak 1 or 2 things, and you got what you wanted out of it. You know what I mean?
wow,
That's awesome.
I saw a video the other day of some guy was just talking to ChatGPT, and it just asked them asked ChatGPT a bunch of questions, and it got it to generate a bunch of code, and it kept copying it into the Unity game engine, and they created Flappy Bird together. So they like recreated like a simple video game, but it was through having conversations with ChatGPT, getting it to generate code, and then copying and pasting it into a game engine, and they got a working video game out of it. So like, I don't know, as this stuff advances, I don't think it's gonna get to a point where it's like, you're going to be able to just completely excise artists and musicians or programmers out of society. But I think it's going to shift the way we do work. For sure. These AIs are going to be like assistants and stuff.
Yeah, they're talking about like the next form of the internet we're going to see is going to be filled with AI-powered scammers and bots and all kinds, like everything we hate about the internet. It's potentially going to get worse because of AI advancements.
Have you guys been getting the random texts? Hi, how are you? And I'm like, oh, hey. And then these are like the new types of way they're trying to scam people is through the text messages.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I delete like 5 messages a day sometimes. It'd be like, hey, Pete, we haven't caught up in a long time. I'm like, why are they calling me Pete? Like, where are they even getting this from? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, if you're an unknown number, you text me. I'm not responding. I know all the numbers I need to.
Yeah.
And on WhatsApp, it's crazy. On WhatsApp, I get a ton, and it'd be like girls messaging me things. Oh, click this link, and you could see my nudes or different things like that. And I'm like, this is.
They just
trying to get people. Yeah,
they just need one person out of every like 10,000 to click those links and send them money, dude. It's a numbers game.
The bots are real, man.